Continuing now with our lead story, the Obama administration trying to expand federal power. Joining us from Washington, New York Congressman Anthony Weiner. So you read my talking points, Congressman. Where am I going wrong?
Well, you have a couple of factual things wrong. First of all, there's nothing in the bill that has any health records being revealed to the federal government. There's nothing that has the IRS finding out your health insurance status except whether you have insurance or not, and that is whether you're going to claim it in order to be able to get your deductions.
All right, let me challenge. Number one, on the health records, if you read the Wall Street Journal today, there's a big article that in order for the federal government to make decisions on who gets what, you're going to have a review panel of some kind to look at people's status. So I'm not sure you're correct about that.
Here's the mistake you're making. Here's the mistake. And they are going to aggregate like things that are going on in the healthcare economy, but they won't know a single thing about Bill O'Reilly's healthcare or Anthony Weiner's healthcare. They will be going to hospitals and say, how many gallbladders are you taking out? How much did it cost you? What procedures were more efficient, less efficient? What kind of rates did you have? That's not, to say that people are going to lose control over their health records is deceptive. It really is.
Well,
but the point that you're fundamentally making here,
wait. If there is a controversy about a procedure and an American, that decision is out of the Americans' hands, out of the doctor's hands. It's in the federal government.
No, you're misunderstanding. You're misunderstanding. Right now, for the last 50 years, tomorrow, we're always going to be, since we're big providers of health care, we in the federal government, but to taxpayers with taxpayer dollars, we're always looking at what things work well and what things don't. No different than if the New England Journal of Medicine compiled the records of 10,000 people who had appendicitis and tried to figure out what results work best. We do that all the time. There's nothing in this bill that does what you said, though, and let's be clear, because there's been an enormous amount.
I just want to point out that's not what the other side is saying. We'll see how it pans out.
There is an enormous, but I'm going to tell you something, Bill. There is an enormous amount that opponents of health care are saying that are just lies, and I'll say that again, that are just lies.
We'll see how it pans out.
And we have to be careful, but we have to be careful not to have false debates.
Right, now the IRS is now going to have to enforce Obamacare. So if you say, flip it, I ain't buying it, then the IRS is the one that is going to make the determination whether you get fined or what happens to you. So again, the IRS is going to have access to information.
That is not true.
Here's
what's going to happen. If you want to, I'm going to explain how the bill works. Right now, under this law as passed the other day, if you want to get the tax credit to buy insurance, you're going to have to say on your tax form whether or not you are already getting it. We're not going to give the tax benefit to someone owning a home who doesn't actually own a home.
But if you don't want to buy health insurance, the IRS has to see to it that you do. That's what universal health care is about.
You're making another mistake. That's incorrect because you can't. You are not required to get insurance under the law. You can choose to pay into the pool that pays for your insurance should you go into a hospital emergency room. What if you choose not
to do anything? Then who?
Then you are going to have to pay up to and not exceeding 1% of your income.
You're going to have to, and you say no, I'm not. Then who comes after you?
Bill, I'm going to have to try to squeeze in an answer here. It is no different than if you say you get a tax deduction when you buy a home. You've got to prove you've got a home. You are going to have to pay for health insurance because everyone is getting it under the new plan. When you go into a hospital emergency room and someone provides you care and you can't pay, you and I pay for it.
Congressman, you're dodging the question. If someone is defiant, and there will be people who are, and says, I am not going to participate in this, I'm not going to give anybody a nickel, or I'm not going to give you information about my health status, the IRS then comes in and deals with that person.
That's not true.
Who deals with them?
To say this. The same exact process. It says specifically in the bill we're not criminalizing anyone for failure to
pay this fee.
But here, Bill, here's what we're going to have to try to figure out here. If we're going to communicate this, you're going to have to let me speak. Right now, we have an 88% compliance rate with all elements of the tax code. Requirements, sanctions, everything. It's the highest in the world.
Yeah, what about the other 12%? The IRS gets them if they don't pay the taxes. Ask Wesley Snipes. You can't tell me the IRS isn't the enforcement arm here. It is. Congressman?
Bill, I've got a very big burden here debunking every one of the mistakes that you're making.
Still haven't told me
a little while.
All right, then tell me which agency in the federal government will deal with somebody who absolutely defies. Which one?
Watch this, Bill. Bill, watch this. We are not criminalizing people who fail to comply. Do you understand?
They have to pay a fine.
Do you understand? That's exactly right. But we're not criminalizing them for failure. It's in the law.
All right, Congressman.
I got to tell you something. This is the problem with this debate. Things that are made up and then no opportunity for someone to clarify.
I'm a simple man. I'm asking you the simplest question in the world. If somebody refuses to cooperate, who finds them and you can't tell me?
When you say something, it is no different than any of the various things we have in our life. If you go littering and that's a $50 fine, no one's following you around to get your litter.
All right.
Now, why is this such a difficult concept?
I know I'm not a smart man, but
I love you, buddy. You've got to stop making up stuff about the bill. You've got to stop.
But I still don't know who levies the fine, and we'll try to find out tomorrow.
Well, next time you'll let me answer the question. We'll get to that.
Next time. I asked it 5 times, Congressman, but we appreciate you coming on.